Hello, welcome back to Sokobond. We made a smidge of success in the previous episode, so we did like what, 5 levels, and here we have 10 more. So, we did try this level a little bit, and we got a little bit fed up with the level, I think. Anyway, so yeah, the idea for Jellyfish is you need to make all these OHs somehow bond to the carbon to make 4 of these guys. And generally, well, I don't know what I generally want, but I forget what happened here. I realized that this made the most sense as a starting move, even though I'm not entirely sure if it does. I need something to end up at the top of it, which is why this is what I thought would have to happen. But apparently not. So, like the last one is be at the bottom, right? And I have to join it at the bottom last. Because if it was joined in any other way, I would not be able to hit any of these guys. Right? So it can't be this one or this one that I joined to last. It's one in the middle. So what if I try going for the 2 corners first? Well, I would still need to control to and sort of make sure they make sure they what? It's pretty challenging at this point. I had to move some up to the top. So like this, maybe. But not exactly like that. It's more like I mean, we're kind of stuck. Any way we do it, we're kind of stuck. Yeah. And then my next idea was to do something like this and then, you know, this, which may or may not be a better idea. The only problem is then, like, how do I then get stuff over, right? Interesting. Let's get stuff down, but I need stuff to go up, which generally involves a step that looks like this. But then I also need stuff to go on the sides, right? So it's like, what happens, like, in what configuration will this work? I'll need the dot to be like in between that square that I've made, which requires some very interesting things, most particularly this top object, right? This thing above me cannot be straight, like that has to be bent somehow. So maybe I need something like this? I don't know how much better I can make this, honestly. Can I bend you? Like, could I? I need to go for the one on the corner right now. Otherwise it wouldn't work. But to go for the one in the corner, yeah. Weird stuff happens. It's like, okay, if I go for one on the sides, right? It's easy to go for the corner after that. But if I had 2 of these guys immediately, to actually go for the one in the corner, I would have to bend like this. It makes it really difficult. Yeah, it makes it quite hard to actually get in there at all. So it's like, maybe I want to collect the 2 in the corner first and then somehow maneuver them around to collect the middle ones. But then again, I can't collect the middle ones at the same time, see? Because if I did, well, I don't know what happens if I did. But if I collect, I mean, I should be fine collecting a random one now, even though maybe not. If I did collect any random one, I would get stuck very, very easily. And I have to move a lot of stuff over. Firstly, this has to move over. Then I have to move stuff. I have to move the one. So I have to move like that. But then now it's stuck because I can't go over to that side. I could if this was a straight line. So maybe I have to do this. And then this. And then this. Ah, but now it has to be bent. So maybe this would work. Oh, we're getting close. I think this is it. Yeah, there you go. Alright, hey, make sure to rotate your molecules every 6 months or 5,000 micrometers. Alright, that isn't even a fact anymore. I think we're just stating random things now. Alright, elephant in the snake. Yes, because it looks like an elephant head, and I assume we have to make a snake that is completely comprising of these guys. So why is this a bad thing? Because how else would I get the hydrogen inside? So it needs to be able to move over by 1. And how? How would that be accomplished? I assume the answer is still a snake. So how do I collect that at the end? And what kind of shape would I need to move over? Is it even possible to move over? And I assume because we're not in the dark grey world, we don't actually make multiple molecules, do we? We could make hydrogen peroxide. We could make a regular hydrogen. We could make water. Well, not really, because we have to touch one of these guys, and then we can't really enter here without, you know, doing stuff. But okay, let's see. If I did this, how would I even move over? Because I can't do that, right? It's like that. I may have to push something in there. So the idea is to push something in. But that does require a little bit more thinking. First, I have to collect you. And the reason why is so that you don't block the way. But the problem is that now I can't be this long. So I want to do is I want to back up. So I need to be at most 3 long. Okay. So maybe I collect the one at the bottom then. I can push you guys. I think that's okay. I think. I do need to collect you. I need to push one of you guys in, but not both, alright? So maybe I prepare one of you guys first? Yes, yes, and then I can collect you from behind and then push you in. Now that cannot happen, so something like this has to happen instead. I have to back up now, and I have to push you in. And I can only push you in when I'm exactly the length I need to be, which has to be collecting everything else. And now I can push you in, and by continuing my snake, that forms your chain. Nice. Snooker was invented by a chemist attempting to model bonding interactions. This is the reason why early snooker balls exploded. No way that's true. Alright, I'm starting to doubt all these facts now. Also, I think I should turn off my notifications, right? I think they're getting very annoying. How do I do that? Settings? Notifications. Do not play sounds. There you go. So I don't actually know if you guys can hear it, if it's like isolated from the game audio, or if you guys can actually hear it. But yeah, I'm hearing it. It's getting annoying to me. Okay, those 2 levels were decently okay. Now we're going to this one, which is involving breaking bonds, I think. Yeah, complex. Or complex, depending on which one you want. It's very funny. I thought it was like this. Yeah, complex has 3 different meanings, and 2 of them, there are 2 pronunciations as well. Actually, it's actually really funny because a lot of words have 2 different pronunciations based on whether it's a noun or a verb. Like you can be content with your you can be content with your content, and you can present a present. You can also gift a gift, but you know, those are pronounced the same. So in this case, we're in a pretty you know, we're in a little area over here that looks pretty complicated, therefore making this a pretty complex. Haha. I don't know if there's a term for those kind of words, but alright. What actually do we want to make here? Do I want to form a loop? I feel like it would be very nice to form a square loop. And then the nitrogens with one bond left will each bond to hydrogen. But that doesn't seem right. So maybe it's more of a chain. Well, okay, to be fair, there are no extra bonders, right? So how are we going to form extra bonds? I don't think we can. So it has to be a loop. Plus the two hydrogens. That's really interesting. So it has to be something like this, forming some sort of closed loop. So like this, doing a loop like that, and then the hydrogens on each end. Right, but how am I gonna manage that? I can form like the end over here. I need to collect one myself, but once I do that, it's actually really hard to do anything. Yeah, this is actually really complicated. Really complicated. Why are there bonders here? Why do I need the bonders there? Maybe that's why? To do this? I mean, this doesn't really do anything. So I can't pull you out. Interesting that that happens. But it's like, you can brush things against the edge. Even though I don't know if that's a useful trick or not. Maybe, does this form a stable loop? Oh, it does. Stable loop. Oh, so okay, this doesn't have to be alternating then. Okay, that's rather interesting. So maybe what I want... Ah, okay, so I see what I sort of want now. I want to do something that looks like... how do I want to form a loop? How do I want to form a loop here? I definitely do want to do this, but that requires something like this first and then this, and that kind of breaks stuff a little bit. So I'm not supposed to be that long first then. I can do this. And my idea is generally to... Oh, what is it to do? It's like... I need to form... Can I bring you both out at once? I mean, not at once like that, because I can't turn otherwise. It's like... I can sort of store things in here then. So maybe that's the idea. I mean, not really, because... it doesn't really help much. Yeah, having these hydrogens more or less just restrict me from doing things. So maybe I don't want them yet. It's like, I have to have them at some point. And I don't think I can really unbond anything else if I did. Maybe it's not it doesn't... I feel like it has to be a ring, right? Because you can't have multiple bonds, you need a lot more bonds than you have atoms. So it has to be some sort of ring. And like, I'm thinking that you do this first. So instead, what I will do is I will make something like this happen. So make something like this happen. Then I can sort of collect the oxygen and hydrogen at roughly the same times. And that forms some sort of stable kind of loop. See, the problem is that's the problem. How would that fix itself? Once this happens, I'm completely stuck. So it's like, how do I even... See, how would I even like... jeez. Alright. It has to be something else. It's like, maybe I have to do something like this. Okay. No. Because I can't rotate myself once I pull this thing out. It's like, otherwise, how do I even... Can I store anything else inside besides the hydrogens? Because if I try it, I can't rotate. Yeah, that feels completely wrong. And this will require some very intricate movements. Like, this is the easiest way I found to make a loop. But is this okay to make a loop with? It's like, if I could, okay, if I could do something like what could I do? If I could do something like this, right? See, then it would form half of it. But I need the other hydrogen to be with the nitrogen there. So how? It's gonna be part of a T-junction. Which doesn't really work, right? No. Just keep saying no. But this is like part of the steps that I would need. Oh, what? I can do this, and also it looks like the hydrogen is just flickering. Or maybe that's useful? I don't know though, because that would require like a lone hydrogen outside of its area, which can't really. It's like, if I tried that, I can't do anything, can I? Like, I can't do anything. Okay, well, see, okay, if I could, I could form a chain that ends with hydrogen. But that would require some interesting things. It requires the two nitrogens to be far apart, which I can handle. Yes, I can make it so that the nitrogen chains are far apart to make noon. But now the other idea is that I also need to form this sort of thing where something like this has to happen, but it has to be straight. But see, this causes a bend, right? I don't want that. So there we go. That's how it's done. Okay. Finally, and we can just do whatever we plan to do. So this. There you go. Alright, lemons turn from green to yellow as the ripening process moves them to a lower energy state. Okay, this one I can't believe is a real fact. And the reason why how color works is... Well, is it really lower energy? It's more like the... I would say pigments is the answer. But there are certain... Oh shoot, that's why this level is called complex, isn't it? Because basically how color works in transition metals is that they absorb white light and they absorb some of the components of white light, and then they transmit the rest of it out. And the light that they do not transmit are certain frequencies which give them the colors. And so this happens most commonly in ion complexes or complex ions, where it's like different metals. You know, within the metals themselves, they have ions that can move up and down between the electron rings, I believe. Or more really the electron orbitals. They move around the electron orbitals. And this kind of causes electrons to either absorb energy or, I guess, release energy. But generally when they absorb energy, they move to a higher energy state. And that's what causes color to change. That's why it causes them to have a certain color. In this case, the change in color does probably also mean lower energy state. When you decrease, you basically release certain amounts of energy, which causes a different color. So yeah, alright, that was a pretty interesting level. Alright, okay, what is this? The monster. Yeah, alright, so this is a similar idea where you have this hydrogen sort of forming little areas at the bottom. We're going to form something that's quite similar to it. I think... Well, I want to say this is also a loop, but is it really a loop? No, it's not. It's a long chain. Okay, it's a long chain, and then in the ending in two H's, and within the chain there are two nitrogens which also end which also have hydrogens bonded to them. And so the only way I think this would work is if the nitrogens are in this spot, and then this one acts as the end of the chain. Right? So that's how I think it should work. So we need to arrange ourselves or collect different objects here to make it do what I want it to do. And generally I think, how many oxygens do we have? 7. How many down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exactly. Alright. So yes, it needs to be exactly what I think it needs to be. Or maybe not. Well, it has to be exactly what I need it to be. So it has to be exactly 7 long, occupying the bottom 7 in this row over here. And it also just happens that require... Well, it requires me to... It requires that one of the ends to be hydrogen and nitrogen immediately. Unless that's not the case. When would it not be the case though? Because there are 7 oxygens and 2 nitrogens, which makes 9 atoms and not 7. So it is these 7 down here plus 2 more. Alright. So that means I don't necessarily need to touch oxygen first, but I do need to touch 2 of them to actually gain access to any nitrogen at all, which is I think what I need. After that, I need to immediately collect an oxygen, then another nitrogen. Hopefully rings don't accidentally form in this case. That is bad. So yeah, I don't want any T-junctions at all. Okay. See, the thing is that nitrogen there kind of sucks because it actually very easily gains stuff. So I don't know if I want it to or not. I sort of need it to do something that looks maybe like... I need to push you away first. Can't really push you without doing anything special to you. I mean, that's okay, generally. But... I need to form a very long chain first, then back up into something. See, that's I think the only way we can do that. And how am I gonna do that? I don't know. Because once I do this, I can't really back up anymore. Can't do that for here either. So it's like, The nitrogens definitely need to bond with hydrogens, which means either I myself bond with nitrogen, which doesn't seem possible because I'll always be bonding to an oxygen first before I get to a nitrogen, or the 2 nitrogens bond to these guys, which means that in the final atom we make, the final molecule we make, right, the nitrogens must be in the same relative positions as the hydrogens are right now. So they're either 2 apart like here, or they're 4 apart like here. And so my guess is probably 4 apart, because there's really no other way we can do this. Yeah, so now I gotta do this now. Maybe I want to collect one of these guys first to make it easy on me. Yeah, seems like a good idea. Is that good? I don't know, that's good. No, if I... see, but then that kind of fails, right? The nitrogens bond to each other. I don't want that. So maybe I have to move around to do stuff like... to maybe push you away first? Yeah, I can do that. Push you away first. Oh, that's also a good... That's also fine. Yep. push you away as well. But how? No. No, not a good idea. Because you're kind of stuck. So I can't really do anything with you. Unless I went up here first. But that would still cause a bond to be formed. So like right now I think the best move for us is to do this. But then I can't escape anymore. Yeah, because this always forms a bond anyway, and I don't want that. Oh wow, what is this move? See, we cause them to avoid each other by doing this. That works. And now all I need is to consistently do this over and over again. Okay. So that's bad. That's maybe okay. I don't know. But yeah, generally that's what I want to happen. Maybe I don't want that. Yeah, I want to do this to avoid... Yeah, so I want this to bond to the end, right? I don't want to bond it to this one, so this move is important. But not for here, because I do want them to bond, so I do this instead. That's a ring. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. Uh-oh. I don't know if that's... that forms a ring too easily. Maybe I did... yeah, see, that's bad as well. Maybe this is okay. No, because they do it too... It's so volatile, this situation. So volatile. I really just want them to avoid each other. That's why I want like a straight line, right? So this is okay, maybe this is maybe a good thing. But I don't form a straight line fast enough. And like this causes a loop to be formed, which I don't want either. Yeah, loops are bad. So gotta form some better chain of events here. Gotta formulate a better chain of events. To avoid the chain reaction. So maybe I have to continue doing that fancy avoidance technique. So like avoid like this. Yeah, but that kind of doesn't work. This does this work? It doesn't really make any sense anymore. Nope. Maybe that's okay. I don't see why it would be. This? I mean, that technically works, yeah. And then... I don't want that. I avoid again. Yeah, no. Nope. Okay, we're meeting too many dead ends here. I gotta like focus on each molecule properly. So I thought this was a good idea, but it's not a good idea. Yeah, but I need to move that guy away first. So maybe I have to, yeah, maybe I have to preemptively do this. I mean, I feel like that's not a good idea either, but hey, you know, something can happen. Okay, I want this loop to form. I want this sort of fancy thing to form. I want to do this. This allows me to move freely. Okay, that's an okay thing to have happen. Can avoid you. Does this form a loop? Well, it does that, which is bad. Do I want that to happen at all eventually? Maybe. I don't want that to ever happen either. I don't want to touch those hydrogens at all. You have to move them beforehand. Maybe I want to move them beforehand? So like, at this point just do all the preparation I can. Either that or I don't collect either that I don't collect these guys first. I collect what I need first, and the nitrogens kind of stay in place as the very end molecules I collect. So I collect like what, 5 of them first, and I need to collect 6 of them. 6 of them. So like this would be 6. This would kind of makes sense. But I think I'm too long. Unless I'm not too long. No, I'm absolutely way too long to actually bond backwards now. Unless I can push you out of the way of the first one when I try. So what I would like to do is I would like to do something that looks like... Yeah, there we go. Wow, look at that. And I can just do this. Wait, no I can't. Hold on. Wait a minute, what? Oh, I'm really dumb. No, hold on. Something else is happening. This is a loop that can exist, but not one that is compatible with this because yeah, the end cannot be a nitrogen. Because the nitrogen needs to bond with two hydrogens, which in this case will never work. So it needs to be like either needs to be me with nitrogen first, which we already know isn't possible, or it just needs to be me, or it needs to be, well, I can't explain in words why this doesn't work, but first I know it doesn't, but I can't see why. Oh well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why this doesn't even work actually. There's a lot of reasons why it wouldn't work. Firstly, I can't even move you down here without first causing bonds and then doing stuff. So in reality, what do I actually need to beat this thing? Yeah, what do I need to beat this thing? Is it the same way I slowly retrieve each of these guys? I feel like the answer is no, because it was fine for one because we only had one to retrieve, right? That could form a long chain, but not this one. This one can't form a long chain, right? This one can't form a long chain because the more hydrogens I collect, the more branches we have, and that's bad at all times. So it has to be, at the very most, I collect one other hydrogen. Then the two hydrogens have to form at the same time, have to bond at the same time, which, can I have that even happen? How would that happen? Because I don't really know. Let's see. Suppose I did this. Oh, firstly it needs to even, yeah, it actually needs to be quite straight for fancy things to happen. Which is actually kind of tough to even do, but I can do this. And that's how I bring you out as part of your chain. But like, this doesn't help the final problem of how do I get, even with a long chain, how do I get the hydrogens, the final hydrogens to bond together? So I'm still assuming we're following base principles of you can't fit anything in there besides hydrogen itself. I think. So. So what does that mean? I don't really understand what they want from me here. Like, I can form your loop almost, but then that wouldn't help. Even if I did. Because unlike the top level where you only had 2 hydrogens to worry about, now you have 4. And even if you grabbed one out of them, the next problem would have to be then bonding to the remaining two at the same time. Because otherwise you'd have a branch, and branches don't work out at all. Oh, but the thing is that there are breakers over here. So you can move left and right here, and then that's how you can form... You can move... Yeah, so you can sort of just move past it, and then at the very end park yourself at the end so that all the nitrogens are actually intact. So that's how I think it's gonna happen. Which means that either I come from the left or the right, which means either the nitrogens are 5 apart or 2 apart. And in both cases, one of them has to be very close to where I am. So in fact, one of them would have to be exactly 2 away from me. So this is kind of forced. Well, this initial structure at least. I can still move stuff around while in this form though, which could be helpful. But generally, at the very least, I have to do this. I can in fact configure myself to... Well, once I collect one of you guys, it's actually going to be very hard to continue my chain. For the reasons I have expressed. I can do this. I mean that does help. That does not help though. See. So maybe I do this first to push you away. Okay. Continue that chain by doing a bunch of pushing. And I can do that by... Well, I can do this. No. I did it before. Well, to be fair, I did it pretty far away. I have to have 3 of them. Okay, 3 of them is okay, is doable. So I can do this. That avoids. But does it avoid enough? So this forms, I can break you. But is this a never-ending chain of events? I think it might be a never-ending chain of events. Unless I manage to move you in such a way I can straighten myself out. So maybe like doing this is fine? Well, I'll need to push you slightly further or slightly closer to the edge then. Which is why this one I felt like was a core. It was pretty important. So like I can do this, right? Straighten myself out, but now I can't straighten myself and it doesn't really work anymore. If I moved away at this point, it would form though. That's pretty interesting. So like, why doesn't that happen here? Is it because I need to actually come from here? Yes. And in fact, that should be... Oh, that forms a loop. That's what I was worried about. That was also what I was worried about. So does that always form a loop? I think it will always form a loop actually. That is a problem. So close. And I can't actually avoid it at all. So I have to straight... Okay, no, I can fix this. I can straighten myself here. That's how you get it. Okay, now I can collect the remaining nitrogen, which I have to. Which I think I have to do by pushing it like that. I have to learn to straighten myself, and actually I think it's better to just straighten myself now. No. Well, I can also straighten myself here. No, I form a loop. Wait, hold on. We're not done yet. Because I can just avoid forming a loop by doing this. Straighten. That's very straight. Can I do the same trick before because I am longer now? The same trick where I did this, pushed you aside, and then moved away for the bond to occur without forming a loop like that. I think the answer is yes. But under very specific conditions. See, the answer is you can always do it if you didn't already push it yourself, right? But now the loop forms too easily. I don't like that. But yeah, I can do this, and then it almost forms, it almost does well. But I need to keep going forward here to actually make this viable. So maybe this is not a valid thing. But okay, at least we have the idea of how this would work. Is this a valid molecule? I want to know. It keeps coming back to haunt me. If I did this, it forms a loop, right? Let me guess. Yeah, it will form a loop too easily. And I'll assume it's the same with the other one as well. I can sort of avoid and then do this, but then a loop forms. Which is actually a particular problem with any even number of nitrogens in this case would form that problem. So in fact, maybe what I want to do is I want to before bonding to this nitrogen, I want to have the nitrogen more of be first bonded to these guys, right? So what I would do is I would push you over. I can do this to avoid that. I don't want to have a loop form. That always forms a loop. Okay, that's going to be a problem, but I can fix that. That is something I never expected would happen, but okay, that always forms a loop as well, I think. So no small turns. Yeah, I've got to make like big turns. So like this kind of a thing. But wouldn't that always form a loop too? It's like, wouldn't that always form a loop as well? Because I'm always making a small turn here. So even if I tried to push something over, other way I could do it is end up with nitrogen. But like the last thing I have to have, yeah. So the nitrogens always have to be close to me. Not the first thing I collect, but always close to me. Which means I always have to collect 2 oxygens before a nitrogen. Maybe I have to do this to avoid that? It's like, it kind of feels a bit meh. I can form like little slivers of things I can do. Like this is okay. But maybe before I do that, I just, maybe I push everything into place before that. Okay. We can try that. We can try that. But I feel like I did the wrong thing here. I mean, I could do this first. Yeah, I could then bond to it. I could bond to it from here like this, which works. So I don't have to work to push everything in place. So starting with this, I don't want that. Starting with this. That already feels kind of weak, but I think I could work with that. That feels bad. And I think it is. Yes, I think that's bad. Is this okay? Maybe I have to push you like this instead. Yes. Like that. There we go. Can I do that the same? Can I do the same for here? I don't know about this one. This one feels a bit whack. Maybe with enough preparation, this should be okay though. Oh yeah, because I have to bond to another one of these oxygens first, right? Now the problem is... Oh, there is no problem here. I can just straighten myself. Okay. Cool. So straighten yourself backwards. There you go. There's the bond. Now I have to go from behind. Do this. All of them will break apart. Can move over and boom. Oh, that was so cool. Okay, I really like this puzzle no matter how much trouble it gave me. Wow. Alright. As a result of a clerical error in 1957, boric acid was listed as a candidate for mayor of Sacramento. Had it not been disqualified, it would have come second. Who they voted for boric acid? Funny. Alright, well, that was 4 levels, which is a lot slower than I would like, but I think at this rate we might be able to finish this in about 2 more episodes. So we'll see about that. But yeah, up till now, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.